You know that feeling when everything just clicks? Your mind is sharp, your mood is steady, your body feels like it's firing on all cylinders. That's not luck, that's what your body is capable of every single day. Now, I've looked into a lot of fish oil supplements, and honestly, most of them are mystery-sourced, over-processed, blasted with heat, and packed with synthetic add-ins. But this one is different. Omega-3 Rejuvenate from Big Bold Health starts with wild Alaskan salmon and cod, sustainably caught from some of the cleanest waters on the planet, and then it's processed at low temperatures to preserve what actually matters. We're talking about real omega-3s, naturally occurring vitamins A and D, and pro-resolving mediators, or PRMs, that help your body balance its own immune response. What does that mean for you? Clearer thinking, more stable mood, and real nature-based support for your heart and immune system. No shortcuts, no synthetic nonsense. And it was developed by Dr. Jeffrey Bland, a true pioneer in the world of complementary health. If you want to feel the difference, go to bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman. That's bigboldhealth.com/Hoffman and use code Hoffman for 20% off site-wide. Once you feel it, you'll know. Welcome back to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. This is your chance to send questions to us. It's an all-question program. Your questions guide the discussion. Questions@drhoffman.net gets you into the doctor's and nutritionist's office. Together, 1 + 1 equals, let's pick a number, 1,000. Yeah. This is real. There's a synergy here for sure.
Right.
And so we will endeavor to answer your questions.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what have we in terms of questions?
This comes from Esther. My dear Dr. Hoffman, I truly have trusted your opinions for at least 2 decades. But after reading this article and lots of other research, I have to say I'm extremely dubious about fish oil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky that at 86 years of age, my calcium score is 78, but I do have very high
That's not too bad.
heart
That's
disease.
not too bad. So that means it's set at how old? 78?
She's 86.
Oh, 86. I'm right.
And she has a score of 78.
Okay, so she's right. 78. So it's always better to have a score lower than your chronological age.
Absolutely.
It generally is a safe thing.
Yeah.
So what I would say is that the likelihood of you getting heart disease before the age of 130 is low.
Yeah. She
Okay.
does say, I have very high familial heart disease.
Okay, and
So
in
that's
spite
why
of
she's
so
concerned about this. Yeah.
genetics isn't destiny, and thanks, to your
true.
careful self-management and with little help from friends like Intelligent Medicine, you've made some smart choices. So
Absolutely.
good deal. All right.
Okay.
So the question about fish oil and
Yes. This is from Cleveland Clinic's assessment.
okay.
They say fish oil pills aren't doing what you think they're doing.
Okay.
They say that over-the-counter options are unhelpful at best, while some prescriptions can raise your arrhythmia risk.
Right.
However, they do say, we know that people who consume high levels of omega-3 fatty acids by eating fish have a lower risk of cardiovascular events.
Right.
That hasn't been borne out in studies about over-the-counter doses in fish oil.
Okay. So let's tackle that. And in fact, we have tackled that on several occasions with one of my favorite guests and a true mentor who actually really was very instrumental in inspiring me to get started in this field. And he's still cranking along, very, very prolific. And he is recognized and well-respected and revered by many in the field of integrative medicine. He's Dr. Jeffrey Bland. And I've interviewed him several times here, and I've had the privilege of doing it. It really is a privilege to talk to someone who's been so profoundly has affected my way of looking at medicine and health. And he's a really great thinker. And he actually agrees with that premise that there's kind of an interesting disconnect between the epidemiological evidence, which first showed that cardiovascular disease was virtually unheard of in the Inuit, AKA the Eskimos.
Right.
These days, we call them the Inuit, who subsist largely on whale
Fish blubber.
meat and blubber and seal meat, which is extremely rich in EPA and DHA,
Yes.
because that's basically the antifreeze that helps keep animals insulated from cold water. And so they're so they're swimming in EPA, DHA. And a curious thing is they have virtually no cardiovascular disease. Now, there's a lot of other things. They have a very rugged lifestyle. They're exposed to extremes. They don't eat, prior to the modern age, they don't have virtually any cardiovascular disease. Now, with the advent of Western food and cigarettes and alcohol, they're rife with diabetes and cardiovascular disease and obesity. Very susceptible. But in the pristine, pre-civilized state, when they were first studied, very, very free. So that started the EPA, DHA hypothesis. And so they said, well, there's something in fish that's amazing. Let's figure out what it is. Let's distill it out and let's turn it into a pill. And as so often happens, that's reductive. So Jeffrey Bland I've been a fan of fish oil for a long time. I think I think that this thing about there are no benefits, there's so many studies that show benefits. It's not true. But on the whole, there are some studies that are not as positive about fish oil pills as they are about eating a lot of fish. And so what Jeff Bland has done is the latest enterprise that he started is to come up with a fish oil supplement that actually embodies the benefits of whole fish. And that's through a process that is a very clean process. It's kind of like making cold-pressed olive oil that retains all the natural benefits of fish, along with EPA and DHA, but also containing pro-resolving mediators and many other helpful compounds that are found in fish. So my new choice is an omega-3 supplement, is a broad-spectrum omega-3 supplement that also has that little vitamin A and D thrown in, which is called Omega-3 Rejuvenate. So I hope that you have the ability to navigate, obviously you're sending us questions via the internet. Good for you. Find the podcasts where I talk to Dr. Jeffrey Bland at drhoffman.com. We have short form ones on some of the weekend shows, and we have long form ones where I do a deep dive with him literally for an hour or more on exactly this premise, which is why the disconnect and what can we do about it in selecting fish oil supplements. And I think he's offering a plausible answer in creating a product that at least attempts to emulate the benefits of consuming fish versus consuming a highly purified fraction of the fish oil and zeroing in on one or two compounds, EPA and or DHEA, as the secret sauce within fish that promotes health.
Yes. So good stuff, Big Bold Health, Dr. Jeffrey Bland. Yeah, a mentor to so many integrative practitioners, the granddaddy of integrative and functional medicine, one of the founders of, in fact. So Esther, at 86, you have a calcium score of 78. And fish oil. Dr. Hoffman, the days that I do eat wild Alaskan salmon, I skip my fish oil supplement.
Right, okay.
But only on those days.
There you go. Okay, because, it's kind of like
sardines.
A belt and suspenders, right? You don't need that.
Yeah.
Right. But, I will point out that, there's this knock on fish oil that it causes arrhythmias. A couple of things about it. First of all, the most dangerous type of arrhythmia is ventricular tachycardia. This is actually why they sometimes put in an internal shocking device to shock you back into rhythm so you don't die sudden death due to a dangerous ventricular tachycardia. It's the kind of thing that you see on the doctor shows, where they get the paddles out and shock you. That's
clear.
That's VTAC. VTAC. You see those zigzag lines, and then and that's VTAC. Actually, fish oil is protective against ventricular tachycardia, but there are two types of heart chambers. There's two ventricles and two atria. And there's a more common type, less deadly, atrial tachycardia or paroxysmal atrial tachycardia, or worse yet, atrial fibrillation. And generally, you don't die from that. It just kind of, slows you down, requires that you get sometimes medication. or blood thinner. But there's tens of millions of people who have atrial fibrillation, particularly as they get older. And there
Yeah.
was a study that showed that fish oil was associated with a higher risk of atrial fibrillation. But lately, there was another big study out of the UK Biobank. I think they looked at like over 1 million people, and they found that taking fish oil supplements was not associated, was actually had a protective effect against atrial fibrillation.
There we
Because
go.
why would it protect against ventricular but cause the other one?
Right.
That's would be
Yeah.
counterintuitive. So anyway, that specter of like, and I think cardiologists hang on that because they heard it once in a lecture a couple of years ago, and they didn't look at the more recent research that contradicted that. And they're down on supplements. They're just down on supplements.
Oh, gosh. All right. Let's see here. We've got a question from Joan. If I want to go on your sleep protocol, Dr. Hoffman, should I order all the things listed?
So what is my sleep protocol and how do you find it? Okay, so there's this thing that I've set up because I get so many questions, and we kind of try to automate it, rather than spoon feeding you the protocol every time, on this show. You can go to drhoffman.com, and there's a drop-down menu, store, and it's drhoffmanstore.com, right? And then you can sign up for FullScript, and then you have entry to my protocols for a wide variety of things. And they have expanded it so that the protocols actually include recommendations from some of the top integrative doctors in addition to myself, so that you get like a menu of a lot of possibilities under each category. Now, what that means is, especially for something like sleep, it's like somebody who has a sleep problem, generally, if you got a sleep problem, you're not going to take, 5 different medications for sleep. That's really not a great idea. And similarly, you want to test individual supplements for their efficacy for you for sleep. Because if you take 5 different things, you won't know whether one is doing the heavy lifting and working for you, or maybe they're working at cross purposes, or maybe even there's too much of a sedating effect, like if the smoke alarm goes off at night and you got to run into the hallway in your pajamas, you're not going to be able to lift your head off the pillow. So, the suggestion is that there's a menu of possibilities, different strokes for different folks.
True.
Some people love melatonin. Other people's melatonin doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Same thing for all the things like passion flower, theanine.
Yeah.
We can go through,
German chamomile. Let's see. So many others.
GABA.
GABA's a good one.
Yeah.
Actually. So, and some of these things can work
Magnesium.
Magnesium.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're having sleep problems at all, it's
now,
possible you're low in magnesium.
That doesn't preclude the possibility that you can synergize. I mean, for example, I take a combo gummy at night, which is passion flower, theanine, and some CBD. Now, CBD is not available on FullScript. You have to get it elsewhere. But, this, it usually, rather than a one-size-fits-all protocol,
exactly,
it's not personalized medicine. It's not going to work for everyone.
Right. Some people do well just taking tryptophan.
That too.
Or
5-HT.
Which goes on to become serotonin, melatonin, and naturally producing it that way. Yeah, absolutely. Some people do taking L-glycine.
Glycine.
They don't have trouble falling asleep, but they're not staying asleep. So the glycine can help in that regard. It's different, depending on your sleep architecture.
Right.
If you may use that phrase. Yeah.
Now, this also bespeaks a role for folks like you. You are a medical nutritionist. You know enough about medical conditions, and you work with physicians like myself. And so you understand the medical dimensions of a problem, but also nutrition. And that creates the opportunity for personalized medicine and for, a better dialing in of what you may really need based
Exactly.
on your training and experience.
Hmm.
So
I'm a medical nutrition therapist, to put it a different way. Yeah.
MNT,
And then,
MNT.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think now actually is a good time to hear from one of our sponsors.
Absolutely. So here's an opportunity to learn about one of the products that our sponsors have generously underwritten this program to talk about. So here goes. Listen up. Ever walk into a room and forget why you're there? Lose your train of thought mid-sentence? Feel like your brain is running on fumes by 2 in the afternoon? Try Kyolic Specialty Series Smart Mushrooms Plus. This isn't caffeine, it's not some jittery stimulant that crashes you an hour later. This is a clean, science-backed formula built around certified organic lion's mane mushrooms, clinically shown to support the nerve growth factor that actually helps your brain maintain and organize neurons. We're talking real foundational support for focus and mental clarity, and it doesn't stop there. It's combined with Kyolic Aged Garlic Extract, aged up to 20 months on organic California farms, plus Aronia Berry Extract, selenium, and vitamin B12 for long-term brain health and executive function. 2 capsules with a meal, once a day, vegan, non-GMO, no gluten, no dairy, no artificial anything. Kyolic Smart Mushrooms Plus from Wakanaga. Learn more about this and the entire Kyolic Mushrooms Plus line at kyolic.com. That's KYOLIC.com. Look for Kyolic at natural health stores nationwide and online. There's a crucial molecule in your body that helps control everything. Your circulation, your energy, your stamina, your heart, even your sharpness of mind. It's called nitric oxide. But after age 40, your body makes less and less of it. Less blood flow, less stamina, less of you. But now there's N101, the nitric oxide lozenge developed by Dr. Nathan Bryan, the world's leading nitric oxide researcher backed by Nobel Prize-winning science. N101 is designed to naturally restore your body's nitric oxide levels. Just do what I do and let one dissolve in your mouth twice a day. I especially make sure to take it before workouts. N101 goes to work in minutes, releasing nitric oxide directly into your bloodstream, supporting healthy circulation, boosting oxygen delivery to your muscles and brain, helping you feel the way you're supposed to feel. More energy, better blood flow, sharper focus. Day after day. N101, it's the science of you working better. Visit HoffmanNO.com. That's HoffmanNO.com and use coupon code Hoffman10 for 10% off N101. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. They are what make intelligent medicine a continuing free resource to you. And we want to keep it that way. And we will. We pledge to keep it that way.
Yes.
That's our business model. Free.
Yeah. Free and enjoy.
I got to say, do you have this experience? I will sometimes come across something that I really want to learn about.
Yeah.
And, like a great headline, and I want to delve deeper on it. So I click on it, and it takes me to a place, either a periodical or, some website.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, to learn more, subscribe for only $14.99.
Yeah. And that's the end of it for me.
And I got to say, I guess I could afford it, but
Sure.
it is such a barrier to my
Honestly.
reading on. And,
Exactly.
I may sound like a cheapskate, and people put valuable information up there,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel that it's really very off-putting.
It is off-putting. It's dangling a carrot and just continually yanking it until, you submit and pay for it or something like that. Yeah. That often just turns me off. And if I see that particular vendor, website, whatever product, I just basically
What
turn
bothers
away.
me is when it happens with scientific articles. And I think that, look, I get it that it costs money to maintain scientific journals.
It's a subscription. That's different,
But
right?
there are for-profit entities that publish these scientific journals, and they make hundreds of millions of dollars with subscriptions, because every medical library, every institution, hospital has to buy a subscription. I get it.
Yeah.
But I think that the public should have more access to this kind of stuff.
Agreed.
Because otherwise it's kind of like under the hood, and you can't really understand what is going on.
Right. But you do have a resource with intelligent medicine.
We try to break it down for you and make it more accessible. But
Absolutely.
Also it's a skill to analyze research.
It is.
And I think a lot of the headlines, for example, this thing about protein, I think the reporting on it, for the most part, was kind of shoddy. And
yes,
the journalists are merely parroting some of the press releases rather than doing a deep dive and looking at what is essentially a controversy, but looking at it from the standpoint of pro-con. Like in journalism, I studied journalism in junior high school and high school. And it was always, if there's a story like, this one says that, this one accuses that person of such and such. You always have to go to the other side and get a statement. And so often in stories that like, this supplement is bad, they never consult someone who's an advocate for supplements. They only say, they're not reporting like in a journalistic way about something where there's two sides, where there's two sides of a controversy.
It's not truly investigative. And on top of that, there are less and less scientific journalists who understand the language, who are familiar with it, who know how to interpret it, and to not be biased in their reading of it or something. So yeah, it's important. That's gone.
There's also sort of the Wikipedia effect, which is that they have named certain sources, authoritative sources, and accuse other sources as branding them as misinformation or disinformation.
Yeah.
And that happened a lot during COVID.
It did.
And so you had like one party line, and you couldn't even enunciate the other party line, because if you did, you were branded a, like disinformation dozen kind of thing.
Yes.
Yes. It was just a really dark time for freedom of expression, especially around health.
I heard this phrase the other day. What's the difference between conspiracy and truth? About 2 weeks.
Okay. That's about right.
In this case, a couple of years, but yeah. So we've got an email from Kelly. Kelly says, I came to see you many years ago. I was trying to get off medications and start using natural substances to control depression and anxiety. You had taken a blood test. You prescribed exactly what I needed. It was very successful. Thank you.
Great to hear. Yeah.
I have since gone off those substances quite a few years ago because I was feeling better.
Oh, wait a minute.
And I was wondering.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I got to say.
She was cured.
Yeah, that's sort of like taking penicillin for an infection. I think it's a little misconstrued in that taking something for a chronic condition, you may want to take a maintenance dose of whatever. So if it worked, chances are that the benefits would have been maintained had you stayed on it. However, circumstances change, the body changes. We actually become aware of better options, 20 years hence, maybe there's some better forms of certain supplements or some new ideas about treatment.
And well, Kelly is wondering, is it standard to do this type of assessment that you had done for me back when to find out what particular supplements I needed, for example?
Well, not only is it standard, but the field of
critical
relationship between nutrition and mental health and mood has really expanded. It's literally exploded in recent years. And we have a better understanding of certainly the relationship between diet and mental health and the role of certain supplements in supporting mental health. And so it really behooves you to get checked out. Plus, there's so many other factors other than diet that play a role in mental health. And you may have certain medical conditions that have emerged that may impede your ability to leverage completely the benefits of a great diet. Like if you've got a really messed up thyroid
Yeah.
You could be on great supplements and a great diet, and you'll still feel really exhausted and depressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or conversely, if it's a hyperthyroid, you could feel anxious. I mean, that's one
Yes.
example of, a medical condition that affects mood.
Mhm.
We also know more about the microbiome and how the
Mhm.
microbiome affects mood big time. So that's something that we've learned more about in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So I think you need maybe a reevaluation from an integrative physician and
Hmm.
or medical nutrition therapy specialist
Hmm.
so that you can, get the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kelly, we're glad you're feeling better and so glad you were helped. Yeah. Uh, you know, her life could have been very, very different because she was already taking medication. She wanted to get off it. And more people are finding, especially with psychiatric medications, whether anxiety, depression, that they're not finding it to be very useful or taking care of the root cause,
Yeah,
whatever
I
that may be.
recently talked about an article which stated that there's unequivocal benefits to antidepressants for some people short
Yeah.
term as a short term intervention. Because, I
Hmm.
mean, unfortunately, they don't work for a lot of people, but maybe a good 30% of people get relief.
Yeah.
And, but the tendency is to keep people on them in perpetuity.
Yeah.
And it is worthwhile to try a drug holiday,
Hmm.
especially where the medications are causing side effects. And side effects, notably for women, is a complete diminution of libido,
Yeah.
loss of interest in sex,
Hmm.
but also, other side effects sometimes with certain medications, anti-anxiety medications, long-term cognitive
Right.
problems.
You don't want to trade in one problem for another.
Right.
Yeah.
But then when people are taking off these medications, they feel terrible. And so it
Yes,
is thought that, oh, that's just the old depression rearing its head again. But it's actually withdrawal from the medications.
it is. Yeah. Yeah. And so many are told that, oh, no, you need the medication. See, your depression is back. You're not doing well without it. You need to go back on or something. It's unfortunate. Tapering can be difficult for many people. Some people are able to taper within several weeks to a couple of months. For other people, it can be as much as a year or two.
Yeah, it has to be done
Everybody's
very
different.
judiciously, very carefully.
Yeah. Yeah. With supervision,
Yep,
not on your own.
yep.
Yeah.
Good
Okay.
psychiatrists know that. But I think that we need
Yes.
to spread awareness among mental health care professionals that
Hmm.
can't go cold turkey.
No, no. Okay, we got an email here from Dave. After reading an article by Dr. Hoffman about the positive results of using bergamot for cholesterol, I decided to give it a try. I've
Mhm.
been taking I've been taking it for about 2 months, but I've gotten some mixed results which I don't understand. My cholesterol, well, here's some of the changes. My previous cholesterol total increased from 215 to 224. However, my triglycerides dropped from 85 to 56. Yay. My HDL dropped from 51 to 47.
But that's
Not
nothing.
very,
See, wait, just hang
yeah,
on. People have too much faith in these lab results. Is
yeah,
that if you split a sample and you send it to three different labs, you're going to see some variation. And that,
huh,
like a 4 point variation on HDL, very common to see just based
okay,
on lab, you know, not even
hmm,
lab error, but just the fidelity of the test. And so that's not something that you can hang your hat on.
right,
And then there's like even the same person from day to day, depends
yeah,
on your physical condition, your exercise, your sleep, your diet,
hmm,
your metabolism, and which changes,
right,
changes.
right. Dave did include more protein in his diet. He's working out. He's on testosterone. He feels well. But his LDL increased from 149 to 167.
Okay,
That's not the important thing. What kind of particle is that
okay.
LDL? Would be the
Well,
question.
I have actually some new think on that. Okay,
Hmm.
and I had to walk across town to meet somebody for breakfast the other day for brunch, which is kind of a ritual in Manhattan. Manhattan brunches, right?
Yeah.
And so it was a long walk. So I popped in my earbuds and I listened to a podcast of a podcaster I don't always agree with, but he does a good job of breaking down medicine and science.
Let me guess. Peter Attia.
Thank you. And he interviewed a guy who actually came up with the test you're talking about. It was about the particle size. And he was talking about the large, fluffy particles and the small, dense particles. And the dictum is, as you say, it's not the absolute number of LDL particles.
Yeah.
It's the quality of the particles. And if you have the large, fluffy kind, they're more benign. And they use the tennis net analogy where, if you have like big gaps. I mean, if you have like a little tiny ping pong ball, you can hit it through the net and then it's through the arteries. But if you have a big, tennis ball, it won't penetrate the arterial wall. It won't embed the cholesterol in the arterial wall and that kind of stuff. And what he said was he's not sure. He's not sure. He's actually not sure that really holds true because it turns out that the large particles, they're larger and they carry more cholesterol. And the small particles, they may be more atherogenic, but they actually carry less cholesterol. So it may be that they're more dangerous, but they carry less cholesterol, and cholesterol may be the defining problem here. And so he's not sure. He's not saying that this is all bunk, but he's saying that in terms of the studies, you can't say you have a pretty high cholesterol, but it's pattern A, so-called pattern A, which is the large, fluffy particles. That's supposed to be good. And we've been doing that kind of testing for a long time, reassuring people, your pattern A, that's good, or your pattern B, that's bad. It does depend a little on your LDL, but it depends on so many other things, whether you're diabetic, whether you're hypertensive, whether you're obese, whether you have LPA, whether you have homocysteine, whether you have CRP, all
triglycerides.
All triglycerides. One of the best tests, triglyceride to HDL ratio, good old-fashioned triglyceride to HDL.
Yeah.
So this guy might be fine, but we don't know because we haven't seen his arteries. We haven't seen what his arteries are. That is kind of a high LDL. Right. And I'm not going to say, I'm not like one of these LDL nihilists who says LDL doesn't matter. LDL matters sometimes. Right. And an LDL that is over 130, and in some people even over 100, is sometimes associated with cardiovascular risk. So how do you know? You look at the arteries. You get a CAC, a coronary artery calcium scan, or better yet, a coronary angiography with analysis of whether there's soft plaque or hard plaque. And
that's the true gold standard.
I think so. Yeah. So you got to know. You put it in context. Like, for example, my cholesterol, my LDL is sometimes over 130, but as of the last time I checked, I have 0 plaque.
There you go.
So the net effect of all the things going on with me mitigates the effect of a somewhat high LDL. Now, a high LDL of that at that magnitude in another person who's overweight, sedentary, has other hereditary risk factors, maybe has smoked, blood sugar, hypertension, all that stuff. That could be problematic. So you can't just pin it on. Okay, anyway, so I think he's kind of missing the forest for the trees. He's kind of looking at the trees.
Because his total went from 215 to 224.
That's no biggie. That could be like from hour to hour or from lab to lab.
Exactly.
Don't hang your head on that. Maybe hang your head on a trend like 215, 220, 235. It's like on marching upward. There's a trend, but just from one to two. I think people come. There's a lot of people in technical fields where everything is very exacting. If you're like in finance, you're going to look at these fluctuations, or if you're looking at engineering, like a millimeter could make a difference. Yeah. But in medicine, it's not and in certainly nutrition, it's not a precise science.
Right. It's not. Yeah, we have to remember that. And with all the, I'm getting more and more clients, Dr. Hoffman, of people just saying, my doctor wants to put me on a statin.
Yeah, it's almost the default.
My cholesterol is 202.
It's the default. Yeah,
as a default, and they don't want to go on a statin. So we look at everything. Certainly, and we devise other ways to take care of that.
Well, I hope some people are getting imaging to see if they are at high risk.
And that's what I recommend, that they go back to. All right, let's see if that LDL is doing anything, as you would do, Dr. Hoffman. Go get an EBT heart scan for starters. And a lot of doctors are taking heed of that. And then the client feels better when they see that it's zero plaque. But there are others, Dr. Hoffman, and I don't know when this whole cholesterol thing will actually start to die down. But there are some doctors that say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you have zero plaque, that you still need to go on a statin.
Right.
Because to keep plaque from happening in your future. Yeah, so I don't know.
Well,
so that's interesting.
I don't know. It's a little bit like saying, if you go up in a building, you have to carry a parachute, because you never know if there could be like, a fire or like an earthquake or an emergency. I mean, there's some plausibility to that notion, but it's statistically.
How much of that advice is CYA?
There are guidelines, and guidelines often dictate, and especially when doctors interact with electronic medical records, the electronic medical records will actually prompt you when a lab result comes in, doctor, which statin would you like to prescribe? And then if you don't, you might get audited. Like, it looks like you've got a lot of patients who are at risk, and the monthly report shows that many of them you did not prescribe medication for. Do you require re-education? We'll send you to a re-education camp.
Re-education camp. 1984.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Dave, don't be so hung up on the cholesterol. See what else may be going on.
But, I'm not saying that there isn't a case to be made for lowering cholesterol. So, okay, let's talk. He asked about bergamot. What's your experience with bergamot? My experience with bergamot is mixed. I see some people get decent reductions, double-digit reductions in cholesterol. And then I see some people who don't respond to bergamot very much. Bergamot, it has a non-statin effect. I think it works through a different pathway to lower cholesterol. It doesn't cause, muscular side effects like statin or red yeast rice in sensitive patients will cause that.
Which is a statin, right?
But bergamot also has, it's a polyphenol, so it actually has some anti-inflammatory effects in the arterial wall.
Right, which is nice.
Which is nice. So it may have kind of, pleiotropic effects, like a multitude of effects for protection. It's not a bad supplement.
And just like they say about statins, that it lowers inflammation. So bergamot can lower as well. So I've seen mixed results as well. I've seen good results with some people. I've seen other just equivocal. Don't know if it made that much of a difference.
I haven't seen adverse effects like affecting the liver function or anything like that.
Any adverse effects. I've not seen.
But here's the thing, though. I think that I'm not going to repeat what I have said about this. Is if you really need to lower your cholesterol, why take a Rube Goldberg approach? Like a very kind of complicated, circuitous approach. It's just, I'm going to take red yeast rice. I'm going to take, bergamot. I'm going to take niacin. I'm going to take all these things, but I don't want to take a statin. No, if you really need to lower your cholesterol and you're at risk, take the thing that, has shown some proven benefits in people who are at high risk, because niacin didn't pan out in studies. Red yeast rice is simply a weak form of a statin. That is sometimes can hide impurities depending on the brand. It's not as standardized, and can have some of the side effects of statins. So why take the thing from a, health food store as opposed to a prescription thing, which is kind of regulated and quality controlled? I know that this is going to, a lot of people think like I'm a traitor to the cause, but if you have like a religious allegiance to anything, you better, check it out, because, we have to make rational decisions in this world and not based on simply ideology.
Amen to that. Yes, absolutely. And a reminder to everybody to email your questions to questions@drhoffman.net. You could also record your question for the Intelligent Medicine radio program anytime, 24/7. That phone number is 877-726-8255. Again, 877-726-8255.
Okay. And that's for, people have to, stylistically, some people like to write their questions out.
Yeah.
And some people just like to grab the phone and record a question.
Right. Exactly. So, all right.
All right. So, and just to mention, FullScript is your place to go to find supplements of quality. There's been a lot of buzz about counterfeit supplements, about supplements that have been adulterated, and supplements that, frankly, just are talcum powder or, rice bran and have no active ingredients and have counterfeit labels. So your safeguard against that is shop securely at FullScript via drhoffmanstore.com. And there you'll find, we mentioned earlier, protocols. I've been working on those protocols. And now FullScript has expanded that to many, many categories. And you can see recommendations from yours truly, as well as recommendations from some of the top health professionals, doctors and scientists who have compiled recommendations for various health predicaments. So there you go. All right. Well, great.
Thanks, everybody.
Enjoy your week, and we'll convene once again next week for Q&A with Leyla. Questions@drhoffman.net to get through to us. Thank you, Leyla.
Thank you, Dr. Hoffman.
I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, and this is the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I want to thank you for listening to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app, and get new episodes automatically downloaded every weekday. And please give us a rating and review. It truly helps new people discover intelligent medicine. The Intelligent Medicine Podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice, and no doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of information on this podcast or materials linked from this podcast is at the user's own risk. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. Finally, please visit drhoffman.com and discover everything intelligent medicine has to offer, including frequently updated, unbiased health news and fully vetted product and supplement recommendations.
This is Leyla Muden, registered dietitian nutritionist. I maintain a private practice and see patients regularly. If you require a nutrition consult with me but live out of town, there's no need to travel to New York City. I have telephone and telehealth consultations with clients from all over the country. Please visit drhoffman.com for more information. And to set up an appointment, call 212-779-1744. That's 212-779-1744. I look forward to being a collaborator in your healthcare.